Live now. Hello, welcome to my 35th app lab where I'm starting 13 seconds late because I decided to deploy a change to the website when there were 30 seconds left on the clock. Let me know if there's any issues, volume, sync, anything like that on this stream. I am using CueCam to present this, and so it's still in beta. So on here, this is a live stream. I have a little Zoom, some people on Zoom, and then this is also going out over YouTube, but just my camera. If you have any questions, just stick them in chat on YouTube, or just put your hand up in Zoom, and I will dial you in if you do ask a question, unless you sort of like say no, unless it's sort of obvious that you don't want me to bring in your audio as you ask the question, just so that the stream can hear it. I won't bring in your face, or name or anything. It'll just be the audio. So yeah, question I had. I did get a question this week, which I meant to take a screenshot of, but I don't have it. So someone said to me this week, I really like the look of the software, and this was Shoot. I really like the look of Shoot. I've been asked to stream a wedding to another TV in another room. All seems okay to do this, but I would like to also record the occasional occasion. Is this possible, and how? So what's the simplest way to record the output from Shoot? Well, to put it onto a TV in another room and record it. And the easy answer to that, like, you're going to probably need a computer involved. Shoot doesn't record on the phone. I've resisted adding that in. There is secret code in there that does it, but I just think it's not the use case for the app. But what you can do with Shoot is, so you've got Shoot, looking at the wedding. That's broadcasting. So I assume that this person was sending it to an Apple TV in the other room over AirPlay, and that was going onto the TV. So the only thing, if you want to record it, the thing I would suggest is you change this to a laptop and run Air Server on the laptop. You can AirPlay to Air Server and plug in the laptop and see the output on the TV, and Air Server also has a recording feature. So that's how I generally recommend using Shoot. And then there's a Windows version, there's a Mac version. But that's generally the simplest way I've found to kind of record the output and also mirror it with Shoot. So that was just a little tip for this week. So the next thing I wanted to talk about. So I know I've got people on the CueCam, on the BeatSheet Studio trial, right? It's been called BeatSheet Studio until today when I shipped the change. Let me just see if the download button should have appeared on the website. As of today, it now exists, but it was called BeatSheet Studio, and this has created some confusion about, like, what is BeatSheet for? Should I, like, an expectation that you'd be able to do similar things in BeatSheet to what you can do in CueCam. But there are some quite sort of key differences to the two apps, which is why one of them's got a new name now. So what I'm going to do is pull up first the comparison table that I've started in the documentation, just to sort of, as the sort of starting point of all this. If I can just find it, I should have done a link. Always, wait, I need the BeatSheet guide. BeatSheet user manual. So the BeatSheet user manual is available through the website, and then I've got a section on that which is BeatSheet versus OBS Studio. So if I just pull this up, share my desktop, and then do a jiggle so that my face appears, because I still haven't fixed that, and then get rid of the title. Right, BeatSheet Studio versus BeatSheet. So both apps have this sort of CueCam, these cue cards. Both have a desktop HUD where you can look at your teleprompter. Both have let you see the teleprompter in Shoot, both let you see the teleprompter in Video Pencil. You can trigger Ecamm live scenes, you can trigger OBS scenes, you can trigger mimoLive layer sets, you can call URLs, you can trigger OSC messages in both programs. You can trigger screen shares and like media in Video Pencil if you're running Video Pencil camera, but that's sort of like an app that I'm sort of working on. I'm hoping to retire to some extent, or at least like remove a lot of the sort of remote control and bits and bobs that were really a sort of evolutionary process that ended up turning into CueCam. Like, I was adding all this stuff into Video Pencil camera, but it doesn't really belong there. It all belongs in CueCam, where everything sort of sits together more nicely. Then, both CueCam and BeatSheet, both you can add titles, you can add bullet points, graphics, and but you don't get an NDI output from CueCam. You get the NDI, Video Pencil camera works with NDI, BeatSheet works with NDI, but CueCam, I just wanted to take it out. I wanted to get rid of it. So anything that sort of relies on an NDI workflow, like putting titles into Ecamm, at the moment, you're just not going to be able to do that, because CueCam is a different beast. And the idea is that really you're generally going to be managing your stream mostly through CueCam. Mostly the visuals sort of directly there, and then just sort of taking the camera output rather than taking the sort of composite elements and recomposing them in Ecamm. But that's sort of getting ahead of myself a little bit. But just to say, the other things that both apps share, the ability to share scripts, the ability to like have the scene names mapped to someone else's setup, but there's no bundled media in BeatSheet. It's really sort of something that you use, and it sort of assumes, like OBS, like Ecamm, that the file is on your system. It's not like bundling that up. And that was like a major thing that CueCam Presenter is designed to do. It's like, now I can send off my documents and share them and do these things, which you just can't do in BeatSheet, and that's not going to be possible in BeatSheet. And then we get to all the CueCam specific stuff. CueCam has the virtual camera output. It has an automatic video pencil connection, so this just works. It has it includes licenses for video pencil, includes a license for shoot. Like that just comes under the same subscription. So you don't have to buy shoot, you don't have to buy video pencil if you're using CueCam when it comes out. If you do already have those things, there's a discount. I put a lot of technical work into that last week, but you don't need to buy those other apps if you've got the CueCam license. So it's sort of like giving you all that stuff included. Automatically connects to Shoot. You actually get a program feed in Shoot. You can remote control the camera directly from in CueCam. And then like video playback stuff, sharing second cameras, sharing your screen, an advanced Stream Deck plugin. These are all parts of CueCam. But they're all sort of with a view to creating your camera feed that's probably going to go into Zoom, right? Or is going to go into something where you're just going to record the output. So that's a slightly different thing to Ecamm Live. So I guess, so the question is like when are you going to be using Ecamm? When are you going to be using OBS over and why, with BeatSheet? Rather than just sort of like using CueCam Presenter. So the way I operate is I run these sessions now. I'm streaming using Ecamm. But all of this composite thing, I hate that I'm seeing these jitters when I see my camera feed. We're going to figure that out. All of the video and audio you're hearing is being processed through CueCam. Whereas if I was using BeatSheet, I would have my camera feed and all my layout set up in Ecamm, and then I would have different scenes within Ecamm, and I'd be using BeatSheet to switch between the different scenes. And so Ecamm, I think that the major use case for me is interview mode, so that I can sort of dial someone else in, just give them a web link, they can come on, even in that case, I might still use my camera feed. But I would say if you're doing interview mode, if you want to be switching scenes, I would say like BeatSheet is probably all you need. You don't really need CueCam Presenter for all that. Like if you've already got Ecamm Live, if you've already got a complex setup and you just want to like navigate through your scenes, through your set and get your teleprompter and get all your notes, BeatSheet's fine for that. But what CueCam gives you is just, it's wrapping up that webcam. It's taking away the need to create all those scenes. It's giving you opinionated sort of best practice Ecamm layouts that you would otherwise have to construct in OBS or Ecamm and sort of like create that virtual camera, create that indirection, and then manage those scenes. You're sort of like not having to do that anymore. So it's sort of a bit counterproductive to then be also trying to switch scenes, also sort of maintaining all that complexity, when really the mission statement of CueCam Presenter is to take away the need to create complex sessions like that. So that's so BeatSheet, if most of your work, if you're already an expert in video production with Ecamm, just like use BeatSheet. That's probably fine. Like you can take in the titles, you've got a lot more control, you can connect to video pencil, you can bring that in however you want. You can like draw, but if you just want something you fire up and you're going to be able to get going, you're going to be able to take your meeting notes, you don't want to have to fire up other software. You just want this and Zoom or Teams or whatever it is. Then that's what CueCam's really for. And yes, they sort of do look similar. They share a lot of functionality. We have we have a sort of similar look and feel, but I think I just want to change this blue just to sort of really hammer home that they're very much separate apps now. So that's the sort of CueCam versus BeatSheet question. Let me know, anyone, if you do, like, if that's if that makes sense. If you have any questions, yeah, I'm just sort of interested in if that makes sense. So yeah. Also, yeah, with the Ecamm thing, you've also had to buy the licenses for Shoot and Video Pencil and all that stuff as well. If you want a remote control, you've got to have the subscription for that and this, that, and the other. So yeah, CueCam just sort of really wraps it up. But anyway, so moving forwards, the next thing we're going to talk about is how do we go from, so you're excited about, you know, if you've got a PowerPoint or Keynote deck and you want to use it in CueCam, this is what we're going to talk about today. This is the project for today. Like, how do we go from a PowerPoint deck to a CueCam presenter deck? Because they are different things. You can't just like slap in your slides and expect that to be good. And in a way, like, if that's all you do, you might as well just share your screen and do that and be a tiny little circle in the corner and, you know. But I don't think when you've got this face-to-face interaction that you should be hiding behind pictures and text when you could be making a more direct connection with the other person. So I wanted to show you my thought process, and I think it's just a really good reference point to be able to you know, just start from a deck and then we can really sort of understand what the differences are. So I did, so yeah, John Ittleson was kind enough to send me a deck by where did I write this down? I've got this deck that I'm playing with, that I'm starting with, about this product called the Ivy, which is sort of like on topic. It is like an eye contact camera that would work really well with BeatSheet Studio. I keep calling it BeatSheet, right? With CueCam Presenter, which used to be called BeatSheet Studio, and in the Mac code it's all renamed, except the project is still called BeatSheet, but the app is called CueCam Presenter. But the website code all says BeatSheet, so I'm just like, I need to sort of rename the code so that I don't keep calling it the wrong thing. But we'll get used to it. But yeah, I've got this deck, which I'm just going to pull up, and I'll just go through it with you, and we'll sort of see how we can go from one to the other. And it's a nicely produced deck, but like, yeah, there's issues as relating to like how you would interpret that as a CueCam document. So if we go to my desktop, so this is the deck. I might even get rid of this stuff on the side. So we let me just make sure that you can see me. Yes, there we go. So there's some issues. So here's the deck. I'll just sort of go through it quickly. It's like, here's the sort of product. We've got some, you know, we've got a picture of it. We've got some memes. We've got sort of, here's what it's before, the before after thing. We've got these quite sort of brochure-y slides. We've got sort of demonstrations, imagery kind of showing. But it's sort of like, to turn this into something where I'm just going to get on a call with you and we're just going to talk about it. It's sort of like, it's a different sort of thing. Even if to a room, but the fact that you're on camera, that you're in the middle, like you don't, you know, you could just sort of do what I'm doing here and be in the corner and sort of like go through the deck, and that's fine. But like the whole point of CueCam is, I think we can do a lot better than this. So I will let's create ourselves a new deck. I'm thinking of I'm calling them I'm thinking of calling them packs. Packs of cue cards. This is what I'm thinking of. So my first issue with this presentation is kind of a bit of a narrative one, where let's just get this up. Where I think structurally it kind of gives the game away a little bit before describing the problem. It sort of shows you the result before sort of saying, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and here's the solution. I did find the memes a little bit confusing. I think probably maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm sort of missing context. But there are some great slides. So sort of having a look, I think like there's these two images here. Sort of, I think kind of like this is the sort of transition we want to really highlight. So let's see how we'd turn this into a conversation. So I reckon we would start with, like, who am I? Like, I don't know if you're meeting me for the first time, but let's start off with, I'm jumping on a call, I'm starting to talk to you about a thing. I think the best place to start with that is like, who am I? So if we come over to, no, not this one. Let's come up with a blank script, and my first slide would be. Let me just. Okay. Is this like sharing? Okay, this is sharing. So I just want to make it a little bit shorter. So the first thing I'd usually do is sort of throw my name up. So so I'd put like Michael Forrest, and then I'd say, like, founder, or let's say evangelist. IVI, right? We can convert that to a title, and why don't we just like sort of step into this desk and have a look. So this would look like this. Something I thought could be quite cool is to sort of grab the logo and bring that in. I couldn't. So I'm not going to use any. I'm not going to use any sort of graphics software today. I think we can get pretty far with just preview. So what I'm going to do is sort of like jump onto the website, myiv.co. Right, I'm going to jump onto the website, and I sort of see there's this little, this little motif here, up here. So I'm sort of going to grab that, copy image, and then sort of fire up preview. Now, if you like start a new preview document, and if you just press new when there's something on the clipboard, it will create, it will give you that. What I might do is just like crop that. I'm doing Command K here, but you just go Tools. I don't know where it is. Crop. It's in there somewhere. Crop is under Tools. Crop. Yeah. So you can make a selection and crop it. And then I'm just going to like make that white so that it sort of fits with the rest. So I can go adjust color and just like swing these backwards to how they were. And then we should have a white image. And then if I just save that to my desktop, make sure it's a PNG. So let's start with a little logo. And I always like, I think it looks neat if we, I'm just going to drag this onto the card. And I think it looks neat if it's in the bottom corner, if we just have, let's bring this up. Yeah, if it's sort of down here and it's just got my name and it's got the logo like this. That came out a bit big. I might adjust that and just make it like a bit smaller. So this is where I'm going to in my notes, I'm going to remind myself how I want to introduce myself. Like, I'm interested, I heard you were interested in this from so and so, or I've been invited to talk about this by so and so. Like, you start face to face, establish who you are. Like, we don't just jump into the first slide, which is whatever that is. We can start using the tool like that. So then the next thing, so the next thing I want to do is just show the problem. So what I do here is I'd sort of probably come into here and take this. Now, if I copy this and then go into preview and go new, I'm going to get that image. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. And then I'm just going to grab that on my desktop and just drag that into another card. And generally, if we see this, I'm going to sort of say the problem, right? And I'm going to keep the words to a minimum. I'm going to put it here. It's going to sort of come up in the middle, but we're going to see when we present this card, okay, what's the problem? Maybe I'm on this card. Maybe I wouldn't be on this. I just want to sort of let the card, I want to just show the thing, but I'm going to use video pencil to sort of annotate. Look, who's she looking at? Like, why? Like, I'm trying to have a conversation and someone's sort of like looking down. We can show that. We can use the side to come back out and say, look, you know, but do we even need that slide? Can't we just go, like, okay, if I was talking to you like this, like, wouldn't this be a kind of, remember that this is the whole point, the product, that this product is solving the eye contact thing. Why am I showing a picture of someone not making eye contact when I could just, like, you know, write a note in my script or just do it myself, a note in my script to just, like, show what it's like when I'm talking to you, and I'm really excited about this thing that I'm going to present to you. It's going to be really amazing. And then you go, oh yeah, like, that's weird, isn't it? Like, I'm not even looking at you. We want to solve this problem of eye contact. And then I think for the next card, there's this really good like this slide here where you can sort of see the webcam, and if I zoom in a little bit, it kind of demonstrates what the problem is. So why don't I take this and sort of I can picture what that problem is. Go to preview, like, paste that in. I might just, like, trim it a little bit. It'd be quite nice to, like, thicken this up, but we're not going to get too carried away. But if I just save this as Y and then just create a new card, I'll drag into this new card. I'm going to say, okay, and this is Y. Like, and then I can use video pencil to say, look, the camera is here. You're looking at so the person, you need to make eye contact with the camera in order to the other person to see you making eye contact. Trouble is their face is on the screen down here. So instead of looking here, you're looking down here, and that's why it's bad. So then the next thing I would probably do is, I think the next slide is where, you know, we take this next thing. So I'm finding it slightly easier to show these things. And then we've got, like, the solution, and we can sort of tease it a little bit with this image. So again, I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go into preview. I wonder if I can just save it to the desktop directly. But I like, in future, by the time you're seeing this, it may be possible in CueCam to just paste in the images and not have to go around the houses like this. I have been meaning to do it, but it's sort of I have to wait for it to annoy me. So we could, like, bring in this next card and say, okay, right, let's come here and maybe, yeah, no, I think this is good to have full screen again. So we can say, okay, this is the goal. We could put a title on this, right? Okay, this is the solution, right? The screen is showing something and I'm able to directly make eye contact with you. Like, we're going to solve the problem. So that's sort of like, I'm trying to sort of build a narrative here. I'm trying to sort of tell a story while I'm here. Like, it's a very different thing to have a product brochure where you maybe want to lead with the thing. If I want to sort of tell you a story and keep you interested, I probably want to have a little bit more structure than just sort of like coming in guns blazing and, like, showing you everything all at once and not really creating any tension there. So let's just have another quick look through this document and see what we feel about it all. I think what's really cool here, maybe next we say, I mean, the thing is, I sort of, we can use this, like, after my with Ivy slide, but I think we just, I would be tempted to not even use this image, like, just, like, get rid of the image, right, and just have the problem, and just, we can put that there, and we can just, like, mime it, and then, okay, and, you know, that's how I'm able to make eye contact with you. So, like, what are we doing here? We're just trying to minimize, like, CueCam's really powerful. It's got loads of features, but you don't, like, the most powerful feature is the ability to see what you need to say next. Because then you're not, like, leaning on slides or reading your you're not sort of, like, looking down at your presenter notes or having to learn a thing. You're literally able to sort of pretty fluidly talk about the subject that you're trying to talk about without sort of so you don't really need gimmicks to achieve that, because you know what you're going to say and you can just say it, and you can just instead of having like a deck, you treat this as embellishments and accents to what you're saying. So, and it's a very different thing to a PowerPoint deck where it's sort of like everything's got every page has got to be filled with something. So I'll come back into demo mode. So already we've got rid of a lot of stuff. But next, I think, okay, this is how I'm doing it. So let's talk about, let's show a picture of it, right? I think this is cool. Like, let's just I think this one's good. Well, what I saw was I quite liked this card because it had like sort of 3 good things. So what I'm going to do is sort of turn this into, Ivy. We're going to have a title and we're going to have some bullet points. And I'm going to use these to make the bullet points on my card. So I'm going to say stunning clarity, right? Like, well, I might even, because I'm sort of trying to have a human conversation, I might just say it's like super clear. But let's sort of use the copy that's in there. But you got to what looks good in a sales brochure might not feel natural face to face, or when you have to say it out loud. Something I've sort of learned producing videos and even writing songs is you can't just write stuff. You have to say it out loud and feel what flows. What looks good on a page doesn't sound good coming out your mouth in the same way. So you sort of, as you go through this process, either recording yourself or just speaking it aloud I'm talking to myself all day like a crazy person, because I need to know what this stuff sounds out loud before I write it down, or as I'm writing it down, because the way words sound is it's just different to how they look. So I'm going to do this card here. We're going to have stunning clarity. And this is there's some notes here. Natural eye contact. So we can say, well, why don't we say natural eye contact, I think is the key bullet point here. And it's clarity, clear, let's call it crystal clear image, with full control, and then we'll add in immersive audio, so you can mention that it's got speaker, mic, Harman, Carden, tech, and then we can have another bullet, and then you see it's gone into this one, but we actually want sideways ones here, and you see what I'm doing here is I'm putting the bullets here, but I'm putting in brackets, I'm putting the thing that I want to say about that bullet, so that the bullets just are nice and short. Natural eye contact, just because you've got such a crystal clear image. It's 4K, it's got all these controls in software. We've got immersive audio, it's got speakers, it's got a microphone, it's got this Harman Kardon technology. You're going to be really impressed. And then we're going to add in, this is always a bit sketchy when I edit a slide that I've started, and and I think just seamless integration maybe we can go with, and come back to the desktop. So there's a dedicated hub connects to everything, right? So this is sort of our top level, these are the sort of headlines, and then we can keep having a look through this doc and see, okay, so let's have a look what's in here. You would never put this, I don't want you putting a slide like this when you're trying to just have a face-to-face conversation. But what we could do is, we could have a little features list. We could say the features, do that as a slide with a title, and we could take this. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it into CueCam. And we can say, okay, so I could just be speaking, so if I sort of jump onto this next slide in my own presentation here. So Ivy is It's like Ivy is the ultimate desktop companion, combining a full communication hub in a sleek, compact design, equipped with a 4K camera, stereo speakers, microphones, an adjustable lamp, inputs for your peripherals, and integrated software. It streamlines your workspace and elevates your presentation game. So that's the copy that's in there. I think like, depending on your personality, maybe you can pull that off. For me, like I need to make it feel a bit more natural and a bit less salesy. But like, don't like just paste this onto a slide when you can use it as your speaker notes. And like, maybe you just want to emphasize like a couple of things. Like, you know, you just want to say, okay, it's 4K camera. We'll put that. What are the headlines here? Adjustable lamp, right? What is it, like speakers, stereo speakers, integrated mic. And something else to watch out for when you're doing these bullet points, like just have a look at the typography, right? Like take note of the typography, because let's just move this across because I'm eclipsing the thing a little bit. If we have a look at this, what I'm always trying to do here is make sure we don't have widows and orphans. So if I went for amazing clarity of like, why break it over 2 lines when you can say, okay, this is a 4K camera. Like, I'm just going to emphasize that point and I'm going to say why. You know, I'm going to put in my notes, but that's just going to be on 1 line. It's going to look neat. Same with stereo speakers. Same with integrated mic. Why don't I write microphone? Because you know, I don't know. I'm careful about like those line breaks that I don't want. Like especially if it's like a short word, like on the next line, it just starts to make the whole thing look a bit scrappy. So just sort of basic typography. Try and kind of keep that text looking neat, and that's just not something that can be automated. And if you do end up having a deck where things are a little bit like, it's hard to like, I don't know, you're German and all your words are this long, you can adjust the overall font of the deck down a little bit or up a little bit, or change the font if you find it's just a bit too constricted as it is, but it will affect all the slides. But it's just you're sort of trying to tune it to find something that is going to generally work for your cases, and then you're going to adjust your language a little bit in order to make that fit on the slide and look good. So you look good. So let's just have a look through some of these, and I think maybe we're going to like sort of go through some of these points. I think there's some good slides here. But I don't think we need to be full screen anymore with these images. Like I think we've had enough full screen images. Let's just sort of like, let's put it picture in picture. Let's put it to the side. So if we come into here, the way I'd do this is I'd just like copy this, come into preview, make a new image. Here it is. It's all nice and transparent for me already. So I can, did preview just crash? Preview just crashed. If I save that out. Now, something else, like until I fix this, do watch out for the file sizes. So this is really big. So I'm just going to make this like, remember that your webcam is never going to be a higher resolution than 1080p. So there's no point having massively high resolution images in your deck. And all it means is that it sort of takes a bit longer for it to load it up, and you can end up like there's just no need. So what I'd say is like in your thing, just kind of make this like 600 or something, and then save it out as, what is this? This is beam splitter technology, beam splitter tech. All right, so I'm going to save that out. I'm going to drag it into a slide. We're going to talk about our amazing beam splitter technology. And then we're going to lay this slide out as a left one. We're going to put a little title. We can do that here as well, like beam splitter technology. And, sort of in this case, I don't mind so much that it's, you see, we've got the text underneath, we've got the transparent thing. This, I think, looks neat. We've got like a bit of form. We've got an up and down beam splitter technology. I think it works on that slide. And then we can just, if we have a look at the deck, like look at all this text, just take this put it in your slide, and then you can say, like when you jump onto that slide, you can say like, we've got this amazing, unique beam splitter technology that splits light, allows you to gaze into the eyes of the person you're talking to, knowing that you'll see you directly looking at them. You can give your image a professional. I mean, there's still some sales copy. I think we'd like trim this down a little bit. And it's sort of like reiterating some stuff. So I'd kind of like, I'd be sort of trying to make this a bit more concise when I'm just talking to a person, because once you start repeating yourself, it's sort of, I think it's more likely that someone's going to sort of tune out. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's grab this this superior sound picture that's quite striking. Paste it in there. We'll tools. What am I doing? Resize. I'm going to resize that down to something sensible, like 500. I might like crop it as well, just to make sure that my layouts. So try and like get those images sort of neatly contained in the files, because it just helps the app to lay it out like without any more configuration. So if I create a new slide and drag that in, and it will take like the layout. Well, I didn't that time. So so we can see this. We can again just superior sound. So let's just do the title. We'll put our notes in here. Harman Kardon speakers, tuned for voice, help provide clear audio, and we can just again add this thing, superior sound, and that fits. That looks good, I think. If you sort of look down here, you can see that that's going to look all right. Let's keep going. This thing, like you can imagine, right? Like we're going to copy this. We're just going to go into preview. We're going to make a thing. This one's quite small, mercifully. I'm just going to say ports. I'm going to drag that into the deck. Add another card. Drag this in. I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to say whatever that is, a true communications hub. Like now, see what would happen if we put true communications hub here. It's I find this a little bit like the word communications is so much longer than the other bit. So I'm like I'm sort of comms hub, or like your comms hub, or like you can even put a line break within the title, like, and just sort of maybe we like that. I don't know, but like, or just maybe it's just like your hub, but something that's just going to like look neat on the screen and not sort of collide with other things. But you see like how clear this is, right? And then all of the stuff that you want to say goes in your presenter notes, like. And then when I jump onto it, I'm just going to say it's a universal audiovisual hub for all your peripherals. It makes device connections and extensions simple with a wide range of ports that you can connect external microphones, headphones, displays, additional screens, and everything else. And you can sort of take them through, you can sort of show them the picture, and we're good. And then just so to sort of continue this, what else do we have on here? Full HD, I think, like you can sort of see we've got these things. We can basically, I think the heuristic here is like maybe we take the image, maybe we don't. We try and like repurpose the heading, but we don't put this body text. And if you've got presenter notes, this deck doesn't, but if you've got your presenter notes, you can throw them in as well. But if you've got like this much text on a slide, it's kind of too much for a PowerPoint deck, but it's definitely too much for a CueCam deck. You don't want to be throwing loads of text on screen. I mean, I can show you what that would look like. Say, like, I think there could be a temptation to sort of turn all of these into like bullet points. So I'm going to like add in, I'm going to make these all bullets. I'm going to have all this stuff, and I'm going to like, what's this? What's this? Let's just grab all this. I'll sort of show you what you don't want to do, which is how I probably should have started this. But like, and then I sort of want to take this image, so I copy that out. I am going to preview and make my nice big image. It looks like this. I'm still going to sort of like make sure I crop it so that it's not too crazy. Resize it to like, you see that's like a really big image. I thought it should resize the images to sensible sizes, but something was going on yesterday. So control. So I saved that out. I sort of dragged that in, and now like my slide either is going to sort of look like this, and like everything you want to say is coming up sort of as you're saying it, and it's like filling up the screen. Or say like even if you wanted to kind of go, okay, well let's have it as a full screen. It's just like who needs to look at this? Like just take me through it. Like each one of these, maybe this, brightness, like maybe like a list like this, like brightness, contrast, exposure, auto white balance, hue, right? Like maybe that would be like how you'd approach this if you did want to have bullet points. Just kind of get rid of the other stuff. Okay, you're going to have like, here's what you get. Like, so if we just come back out and in, so we go, okay, you're going to get your, I mean, even that's like annoying because it went straight over the eyes. But let's say like, okay, we're gonna have this. We're gonna. I wonder why it's not doing the transition. Let's try stopping and starting. Okay, so you might go, okay, and in your notes it's going to say, okay, you've got this manual control. Here's the app. Here's the stuff you can do with it, and that comes with brightness, contrast, exposure, auto white balance, and hue. Right. So we're like emphasizing a point rather than just like filling up the screen with text, and that's just really key. Let's see if we've got much else. And I think like I just remember, because I went through this once yesterday. If I just come back to the desktop, a card like this is actually quite a cool one for a full screen thing. So I might just like copy, edit, copy as. Well, I think we can right click, copy, and then we can go to preview. We can paste it by creating a new document, but then I'm going to export that as a JPEG, just so it's not enormous. No, well, let's do that. Export as JPEG, tech. Let's make that JPEG. Let's just make it like 72. Save, and then let's drag that into our deck. Oh, we need a new card. Let's add a new card. Drag this in. No, that's not what I want. Drag this on. Make it full screen. And then, so when we get to this point in the presentation, this is where you can like freestyle a little bit, isn't it? Like you can have the thing. You can be down in picture. You can sort of like use your video pencil to sort of like, highlight things that you want to talk about. If there's anything you missed, is there anything that people are particularly interested in? Oh, these speakers, wow, okay, so they're 7 watts, okay, cool. They're, okay, the frequency range, 130, maybe you're not going to get the bass, but, it sounds good. You can sort of like chill on this card and always like remember like you can move it out the way as well. Like you can be talking about it, but you can always just like shift it aside as well with a side 3D. And then just coming back to the deck, let's come to here. Simple setup. Something that struck me here, and I think maybe, yeah, like if you want to mention the team, I would probably like, I do a card for each person and just like, well, I mean, like maybe you can make a team. I'd maybe make a card for each person and sort of put the title as like their name or this bit, and then like you can just kind of put this in your speaker notes. But then what I thought here was, this is for those who need to connect. For the healer, deal maker, connector, educator, and sage. It's for people who want to connect at their best. It can help launch businesses, enhance telehealth, lift education for students, and bring people together. Why is this slide 19, right? Like you want your audience to be like, oh, that's me. I need that. Like as soon as possible. So like this is more of just a structural point, but like this should be like probably kind of before, like maybe we introduce the product. We don't have a picture of the product here. So maybe we'll just sort of make sure we've got a picture of it. I mean, maybe this one. I just want to like rotate this a bit because I remember being, there was a bit, oops. Can I rotate just a teeny bit? Yeah, just get it straight. And then can I like, and I might even just copy the whole slide in this case. Copy that, take it into preview, save it as a PNG. Well, as a JPEG, I think, because we don't need the transparency. Product. Right, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to drag that into this slide here so that I can say, okay, that's how I'm able to make eye contact with you, and like, this is what it looks like. This is our product. And then, but like that on itself, you know, that's a thing. But then the next slide, I would want to kind of like get people to identify their own needs in this. So I would like probably make, and I don't have the content here, but I would probably make a slide for each of these. Why am I doing this when I could just zoom in on Keynote? I would make a slide for like medical, healthcare professional, and just have that full screen. Look, you're doing these consultations. Or teacher, this is for teachers. Like have a whole slide, have them top loaded. You can go through them pretty quickly, but you can make some notes that say, okay, this is for this, this is for this. So let's just take one, and we're going to just do this. It just goes onto the other monitor every time I paste it. But I might even like just crop it to be a bit squarer, just so it sort of like fits the form factor a bit. Save that out as a JPEG, I think. And that teacher. Right, so we'll just make one slide. I'm just going to drag this into... Right, so we can have a slide here, and this is like teachers. This one's sort of like a light background, so maybe we make it dark, so it looks like this. Teachers. So when we land on this, and we probably want to find some copy to say. But so now, if we just go through this, like because we're at 10 to 7. So if I were to give this presentation now. So this is kind of, I'll do a quick run through so you can see sort of what roughly it's going to feel like. By the way, if you, wait, if I press start, this is my first slide. Look at this button, by the way. It wasn't clear to everyone that you could click the whole button. But now if you hover over any of it, it does like a cool, like animation. So I think it's pretty unambiguous that you can click the whole thing. I don't know. Right, so we come in. We've got our. I'm going to make sure my teleprompter is sort of where I want it to be, and I'm just going to say, well, why don't we even like come out of demo mode? So I'm Michael Forrest. I'm an evangelist for Ivy. I heard you're interested in this from the Johns. You know, I thought maybe I'd show it to you. So the problem is, like I'm having a conversation, I'm talking to you about something. We're like, I'm trying to tell you about something, I'm trying to teach, I'm trying to do something, but like, what is this? What's going on here? The problem is, like, I'm looking down at my screen because your face is there, but the camera is up there, my webcam's here. So what you're seeing is this, but you're just seeing my eyes looking down. So that's why we made this product. It lets you look directly into the camera through some clever technology. And that's how I'm able to make eye contact. It looks like this. So there's a camera in the back, and then there's a screen here, which is basically reflecting. It's called a teleprompter usually, but you don't need to know that. You just need to know this is a great product. And it's for people that do a lot of online calls, that want to be able to kind of build trust with their, the people they're talking to, in healthcare, teaching. So it's sort of this kind of scenario. You see, I haven't got any notes for this one, so I start stuttering. So with Ivy, you can make natural eye contact. It's got a really clear image. It's got loads of controls. You've got immersive audio, comes from a speaker, mic, Harman Kardon technology is in there. So it's like really high quality audio stuff. You've got seamless integration with all of your other technology, your computer, your bits and bobs, and it just connects to everything. It's a It's your ultimate desktop companion. I'm going to do the sales bit. Combining a full communication hub in a sleek, compact design equipped with a 4K camera, stereo speakers, microphones, and adjustable lamp, inputs for your peripherals, and integrated software. It streamlines your workplace, elevates your presentation game. It's got a 4K camera. Like, that's too much for Zoom, but like, you know, if you've got bespoke platforms where you really need that clarity, we're going to have you covered. It's got stereo speakers, it's got an integrated microphone that does some clever stuff probably, and an adjustable lamp so you can sort out your lighting just without even any extra equipment. It's got our unique beam splitter technology, which splits light, allowing you to gaze into the eyes of the person you're talking to, knowing that they can see you looking directly at them. We've got Harman Kardon speakers, as I said, tuned to voice to provide clear audio to the listener and great sound for you. And just audio is such a big deal in presentations. And what I'm reading here is a better audio experience can improve your presence during virtual communications. And anyone that's been doing this for a while, trying to raise their game, knows this. It's a hub, so you can plug in all sorts. You can see all the different ports here. It's got HDMI, the bits and bobs, wide range of things, microphones, headphones, displays, all sorts. We've got a desktop app that lets you adjust various parameters of your image. So you can adjust the brightness, the contrast, the exposure, auto white balance, the hue, like if you just need to tweak it. And yeah, like it's just a really fully featured product. So this is everything it does. We've got this Sony camera, the pixel size is this. If you want to kind of like discuss any of those features, like that's the tech sheet. But of course, like we'll give you this document that you can take away. We'll keep going. And oh, did I run out of slides? Did I delete something? Oh yeah, I went back to the top. Yeah, the last thing you need, like, so you've shown the thing, and then you're going to sort of like be in a bit of a you're just going to go, let's just come back to here. You're just going to like, your last slide is going to be your call to action, right? So we're just going to go, okay, look, we're going to keep talking, but this is just going to be on the screen now. Like while we're talking. So anyone, it's not com, is it? It's co. Right, we're just gonna keep having our conversation. We're gonna have a nice time. Everything's cool. I can even put the little logo on there as well. So that's kind of cool. And we can just sort of go on with the conversation. We can sort of like jump back to the tech spec slide if we need to, jump forward again. But like, this is your presentation. Like, there weren't a lot of graphics. There wasn't music playing in the background. There weren't loads of videos. Maybe sometimes, like, if you do want to do a tech demo, rather than doing the tech demo or the external camera, you can do those things, you can make a video. But we don't need a lot of gimmicks to make a connection. And really, like, I mean, BeatSheet Studio, you can add in, like, I'm still calling it BeatSheet Studio. CueCam, you can add all these slides in, you can add all these bullet points, you can add all these titles, you can add a video, you can have a video on every slide, you could do a screen share, you could have a different second camera, like no problem. You could be playing music in the background, the whole thing, you could be triggering all sorts, like you could, integrate it with an Ecamm live presentation. But like, at a certain point that starts to get in the way of communication. Right, you're just trying to like have a conversation, and you just want to like. The goal is not to throw the kitchen sink at your deck. The goal is not to get derailed by technical problems like, oh, can you just share my screen? I've just got to find this thing. The goal is to stay on topic and keep this through line of communication, and that's what that's what CueCam is for. Yes, you can like do all sorts of fancy, clever stuff with it, but I use like barely any of the features, and I do these things every single week. But I just know when I need that thing, it's going to be there. Like when I do need to share a video, when I do need to put some music in, when I do need the sound, it's going to be there. But like routinely, there's no need, because I've got my presenter notes. I can see, I've practiced, I've planned what I'm going to say. I can sort of half read it off the screen. So like, we don't need to go crazy with these things. We can keep it super simple. So that's we're nearly at the hour. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to exit demo mode, and I'm going to try and get back my thing. Yeah, like back to sort of normal stuff. I don't know if people have got questions. As always, just stick your hand up or whatever. But what I can say is, thanks to the share by Aaron last week, we did have a pretty good week for numbers. It was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this number. And what else? Next week, so I sent out CueCam to everyone on the beta tester. The new binary, the new process, the new licensing stuff is all sort of just about ready to go. I've just got to switch it over to, I need the website content. So something I've been working on is, I want my content library to not go out of date really quickly. The instructions, the user guides, the tutorials on the CueCam Presenter website. So I've been coming up with a workflow that lets me actually create the documents that I need to keep up to date on the server, on the CueCam Presenter server, and then sync them down as CueCam documents and actually edit them there and then sync them back up, including all the assets, so that they can be converted into blog posts. And then I know which videos are made, and if I do a commit with a certain tag in it, it will flag that video needs to be, that documentation needs to be updated, and it will sort of append in the stuff that I put in the commit. So I've figured out a workflow that's going to get. But yeah, I've sort of maybe it's procrastination, but I've just always had a bit of an issue with not knowing what documentation is out of date anymore, and so that's something I just wanted to address before really writing a load of content about this app. I see John has a question.
It's not really a question, and I got a little odd feedback. Are we getting an echo or not?
It won't, not on the stream, but you might be hearing one.
Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. First, thank you for that run through. That really gave in a lot of ideas, and I'm excited about the new name. So I just wanted to give you a thank you and pass that on.
Great, thanks, John. Appreciate it. And I'll drop you out. Cool. Yeah. So the major problems, I am seeing this glitching on the camera sometimes, and it is happening on video pencil camera. I have not found a way of consistently reproducing it, but I do want that to be gone before we go, before it's released. But yeah, the documentation is a big push in the next few days to get loads of documentation on CueCam, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies. I don't want to make all the videos up front. I've got a few that I did with Rob Russia that I need to I can repurpose for content for the website. If anyone's been using it and likes it, please, if you wouldn't mind, it would be great to get a testimonial that I can sort of start seeding the website with, just saying what you like about it. If you've got a cool institution that you're part of that I can put the name of on there, even better. But with that, I'm going to say that is probably that's probably me for this week. So if you want to stay in touch, if you want to have conversations, if you want to suggest features, if you want to talk to other people about how to do this stuff when I'm asleep, squares.tv/discord. That's my call to action on the last card. Don't have loads of them, just have one. And there we go. I will see you all next week.